It's just making noises.
Carol, do you have somebody hidden somewhere?
If anything happens, you're
The door
alive
just
with me.
opened.
You better call the cops.
Oh, it's like the door just opened.
Oh my god!
Oh my. And it closed. Hello, bookworm.
So today I'm here with my bestie, Braden.
Hello, I'm Braden from Braden's All About Books.
And today we're starting a series that we're both super excited about,
Yes.
called The Bestie.
Read together.
Spilling the tea on current reads. Braden actually came up with this idea, which is so fun. Do you want to tell them how you came up with this?
So once I watched Kirsten's video where she read You Have a Match by Emma Lord with her boyfriend, I was like, this would be such a fun idea to do with my bestie, Carol. So I brought the idea to her. She said yes. And now we're here and I'm excited. We're going to try to make this a monthly thing. So this is happening every month and we're going to be doing this on both our channels. Like this month is on Carol's channel and she picked out the book we're reading, and the next month it's going to be on my channel and I'm going to be picking out the book.
I'm so excited. And we're also going to be drinking tea every time we meet because we're spilling the tea, so only appropriate. This month, as I'm picking the book, can you guys guess the genre I chose? Give me a second. It's a very easy answer. I obviously had to choose thriller. And Braden is a thriller newbie.
Yeah.
He's just gotten into thrillers like the past year. And I didn't go easy on him. We're reading a very intense book. And hopefully it will not scare him to death. Hopefully. Well, we pray that you can still sleep.
I love horror movies, but then I can't sleep, so.
Oh, yeah. And this is really interesting, too, because it's something that I don't usually read about, and it's supernatural thrillers. So I feel like it's going to be a new experience for both of us, which is just perfect. I love that. Do we want to announce the book we're going to be reading?
Should we try to say this at the same time?
Should we? Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. The
Whisper Man.
Yay! By Alex North. This is a book that has been on our TBRs for a super long time, and I finally got the courage to read this with my bestie Braden, and I'm so, so excited. So how this is going to work is every single time we reach a milestone, we're doing 25%, right? We are going to come back here and talk and share experiences. Obviously, this will be a spoiler-filled video, so if you don't want spoilers, you better hit out. I want to tell them what the book is about. I have no clue, actually, what's it about.
We should just read the synopsis. You leave a door half open, soon you'll hear the whispers spoken. After the sudden death of his wife, Tom Kennedy believes a fresh start will help him and his young son Jake heal. A new beginning, a new home, a new town, Featherbank. But the town has a dark past. 20 years ago, a serial killer abducted and murdered 5 residents. Until Frank Carter was finally caught, he was nicknamed the Whisper Man, for he would lure his victims out by whispering at their windows at night. Just as Tom and Jake settle into their new home, a young boy vanishes. His disappearance bears an unnerving resemblance to Frank Carter's crimes, reigniting old rumors that he preyed with an accomplice. Now, detectives Amanda Beck and Pete Willis must find the boy before it's too late, even if that means Pete has to revisit the great foe in prison, the Whisper Man. And then Jake begins acting strangely. He hears a whispering at his window. And then also I just realized our background has like butterflies, cupcakes, and we're over here reading a book about a serial killer. Also, okay, everybody, I have a shocking, disturbing discovery about this handprint.
Oh my god.
Okay, hold on. Let me...
You guys you don't know what's coming. It's Braden's hand.
My handprint matches up with this perfectly, and it scared the hell out of me.
Too. So let's get to reading. Everyone grab your cup of tea and read with us, and we'll talk soon.
Cheers, everybody.
Meanwhile,
I don't know if you saw that, but that part gave me chills.
goosebumps.
That was... Oh my god. Okay, that part scared me. Okay. Okay, that part scared me. I'm gonna need a minute. That was too much for one page. Oh my god. That scared the hell out of me.
I hate that.
Carol, why did you pick this book? Why did you pick this book? Tell me why.
Later that same evening.
We're back. And we've read 25% of this book.
Yeah.
And before we get started, I just want to say, what's scarier, me without makeup or the Whisper Man? We'll never know. We'll see. I look so bad right now. And we're going to spill the tea.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna spill the tea.
the tea. The story starts, and we follow a couple of different characters, some POVs, and we're figuring out about this little boy who has just gone missing, and we're following the detectives who are trying to find out what's happening with these boys. We're also following a old detective who was part of the Whisper Man case, and he was the one that actually caught the man who kidnapped these kids. And we're following this little boy and this dad, and their story is kind of random so far. I still don't know where we're going with it.
It is random.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna connect in a way that's gonna shock us, but so far I don't know what's connecting them to the story, other than the little boy is starting to hear whispers outside of his window, or at least he's seeing like that.
Terrified me.
Me too.
Whenever the little boy woke the dad up, and but the dad was having like this terrifying dream, that scared me. But then the kid was like, I hear whispering outside my window, and I was like, I don't know what to be more scared by. As they saw from the reaction cameras.
Those reactions were everything. The fact that the child is seeing like an imaginary friend.
We always thought it was just him, so we just let him be. And it was like an imaginary friend.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
I loved the first chapter because it was like he heard whispering from the bushes, and then he was gone.
I love that. Like the last sentence, he said he stepped silently out from the bushes behind the boy and then whispered his name. That
yeah,
that was so good. I love the writing style. I feel
me
like it
too.
worked
The writing
so well.
amazing. The relationships between the dad and the son are really strained right now. And then this one, I just started writing things. I was like, house creepy, house sad, house happy.
I love that.
If you leave a door half open, you will hear the whisper spoken. If you play outside alone, you won't be going home. If your window's left unlatched, you'll hear him tapping at the glass. If you're lonely, sad, and blue, the Whisper Man will come for you.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. How many stars would you rate it so far?
I think right now, because I don't know everything, I think it's a 4-star.
Yeah, I feel so too. Like, as we don't have any plot twists yet, like it's a solid 4 stars. It's good. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it.
And I think once everything unfolds, I think it's gonna be a 5-star.
Yeah, it's my prediction too. Hopefully this will be like a new favorite thriller. I'm so excited.
The next day.
That part was too sad for me.
6 hours later.
We're back. And we have some tea to spill. We just reached the 50% mark of the Whisperman.
Carol, you have such a cute mug, and I'm over here like, I have Pennywise's. What's your favorite line from the rhyme?
The one that creeps me out the most is the tapping the window one.
I think the one that was the creepiest to me was if you play outside alone, you won't be going home.
That's a creepy one.
So, first thing I want to talk about is now we're getting chapters from Jake's point of view. And that confused me at first, and it was like, my daddy. And I was like,
who's calling who daddy? Like,
I was like, who? But then I finally realized it was from Jake's point of view.
So we have another encounter where we hear Jake talking to someone, or his dad thinks it's him talking to himself.
Oh yeah.
He can tell there are two different voices. One of the voices sounds older and a little raspier. And then he goes in the room. He's like, "Who you talking to?"
He was like, "No, I wasn't. You always say that it isn't fair. Like you were talking to yourself." Like the dad thought he was talking to himself, but changing his voice. Once again, why would you not believe your kid?
Right? Just believe your kid.
Also, Pete, this detective character, I hate his chapters.
The old one. He's the one that is always talking about drinking.
Yeah.
He is kind of annoying.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, also we have a chapter now of the new killer. And he talks about how he has never killed before, that the boy messed up, and that he had to kill even though that wasn't his intention. But now that he knows that the next little boy will be perfect. That line gave me goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The dad is sleeping, and he wakes up and he hears something. And he says, Jake, the name of his child.
Oh, my God,
and the thing is moving. It looks like a child. And he doesn't answer him back. And he's like, Jake. And then he turns on the light, and where did it go? That was so creepy.
That was terrifying. And that was right before the other thing that happened, right?
Yeah. That was so scary. Imagine that happening to you. I would die. So imagine you're in your house and you're sleeping. Everything's okay. Everything's chill. You wake up and you notice some whispers and someone talking, and you're like, that's weird. Why would anyone be talking at this time of night? You go down the stairs and you see your child sitting on the floor with his back against the door talking, and there's someone answering.
Oh my God.
And then you see a hand trying to get in
through the mail slot.
You
see 4 fingers.
And the child is holding the keys, and this person is asking
to let him in.
He's asking to be let in. Oh, found Neil's body. They found Neil's body, and the Neil, it was a child that went missing in the beginning of the book, and Braden was really upset by that scene.
As you saw by my reaction, there's a part of me crying. You see a tear roll down, and I'm like, this is too much for me, and I cancel the recording. Oh, and then in the 25% update, we never mentioned about all the butterflies and everything in the garage.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that's why this is a butterfly.
It's a recurring theme on the book. We don't know why yet or what they mean, but
the
butterflies.
The Whisper Man is a butterfly. Imagine that plot twist to a terrifying book.
Also had another discovery right next to this, where we find out that the dad used to have an imaginary friend when he was little, and he was called Mr. Knight, and he would go into his room and hug him while he slept. Now, I personally think that was an imaginary. I feel like that was a real person. So, because hugging,
terrifying.
I think it's a real person and also the dad had a conversation with the kid, and the kid is he's like, did you find the boy in the floor? And the dad's like, what does that mean? And then he goes to the garage to check what that guy was looking at, because remember the guy who was snooping around?
Norman.
He finds a box filled with children's bones.
And then a skull looking at him, and then the butterfly landed on the skull.
Oh my god, that scene shocked me. I did not see that one coming.
That shocked me too. I think I'm glad I got the reaction.
They talk to the police, and the police is like, okay, so we'll talk to this guy who was snooping around.
And then Norman, that's the one who was snooping around. He was like, let's go this way instead, when the cop was entering his house, and then he was like, and then the cop was looking at everything he had on the wall, and there was a red devil mask, and he was like, that was from a notorious serial killer, paid quite good money for it. And I was like, that's not something to be proud of.
Yeah, like, why are you bragging about having correspondence with serial killers? Like,
yeah, and then, I mean, I like true crime, but I don't think I would want an object in my house related to a serial killer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, talking about Pennywise, you're drinking your Pennywise mug. Do you have any predictions for the next check-in? Like, any predictions?
Not at all.
I feel like the imaginary friend from the dad is going to be an important aspect to the story. I feel like that's my prediction. It's gonna make a comeback or something like that. Like, I feel like that's gonna be an important part of the story. And I feel like butterflies are gonna appear again. Butterflies.
Of course they are.
They will be back.
The very next evening.
I knew it.
Two hours later.
75% check-in. Oh my god, we're almost finishing the book.
Yeah. 85 pages left, and then we're done.
So a lot of things happen. I mean, not a lot of things. I was thinking we would have more plot twists, like in this chunk. But I mean, I remember being shocked by one thing, and then we stopped reading in such a scary part that
y'all will have seen all of our reactions. So I've had moments where I'm shocked, moments where it scares me, and then I had a moment where I cried.
Oh my god. Also, the tea. We have the tea, don't you worry.
I'm very in season.
Yeah, Braden decided to go lighter with this one. He did Pennywise last time, so he had to go with a cute one.
One part that was like, I don't know what you'd call it. I mean, like, it surprised me, but like, I don't think it was scary. I think it was more heartwarming. I don't know how you would describe it. Is that Mr. Knight is actually the main character's dad.
I was shocked. I mean, I told you it was gonna be a real person, but I thought it was gonna be a creepy person, not his dad.
Yeah, and it was his dad. Because, like, even after his mom kicked him out, she let him in after he was asleep, and he would go into his room and give him a hug.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was definitely not what I was expecting, but I wasn't mad with that outcome. No. We're not, as you guys might notice, we're not really stuck on names. We're like, the dad's dad, the dad, the kid. We don't really remember names.
I think I have some of the names figured out.
Ooh, okay, which ones? Go.
So Tom is our main character, who is Jake's dad.
Yes.
And then Pete is the main character's dad.
Yes.
So Pete is the father of Tom. Tom is the father of Jake.
We also find out why the butterflies, right? They're like death moths. So they linger around flesh. So we were right that the butterflies would mean something in this book. Like they stick around dead people.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons.
That's gonna make me not trust butterflies anymore.
Right? Like, are they pretty? Let me search it up. Are they pretty butterflies though? Let's see. Oh no, no, that's ugly. Ooh, that gives me good. Wait, I'll show you.
Oh no!
Oh no, I don't like that. Ooh, ooh, I don't like her. So we got a lot of Pete chapters, which are our least favorite in this chunk of the book. Like a lot of Pete.
But I'm actually kind of starting to like him now that he's like going to be, like they're trying to repair the ship a little bit.
I'm sympathizing with him. Like, you can understand why he did the things he did. We also found out something that Braden said before, that the next kid the serial killer plans on kidnapping is actually Jake. We find out about that. He says he's been observing the dad, and he's been observing the kid, and that he knows he'll be a good child for him.
And then, like, the dad, who is Tom, the father of Jake. This is like very confusing to talk about.
It is. It's so confusing.
Goes out to have a drink with Karen after everything that happened.
The kid was asking him to stay home. And like, we knew why. He was scared. And the dad was like, no, you'll be okay. Like, just be with your child.
Especially after everything that happened. Like, the day you're back, you're just gonna go out with Karen,
who you don't even know, and leave him with your father that you don't even know, like, you haven't had contact with in so long. And like, then we get to the really creepy chapter. Jake is sleeping upstairs. Jake starts screaming, and then Pete goes to his room. He had a bad nightmare, and he's like, okay, I'll call your father. He goes to dial the number, and he hears the door open downstairs. And he's like, oh, he's back early. And then the Pete goes back to check on him and talk with him. And then the kid hears a thud. And then he starts... Yeah, and he starts hearing someone whisper his name. Yeah. And that's where we left off.
That's where
I can't believe we left off in that moment. Like, it couldn't have been worse.
Yeah, like, I just want to read this last part because, like, the way they described it, too, is so eerie. A few seconds, he stared at the empty hallway waiting. A few seconds later, there was a new sound. Footsteps on the stairs again. Someone was coming up, but they were moving slowly and carefully as though they were scared of the silence, too. Then he heard someone whisper his name.
Oh God, I know it's about to go down. Like, it's about to go down. And I had to control myself to not look over the next page to see what was going to happen. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I stopped on that last sentence. I closed the book, and I was like, oh God.
I know when that happened, I was like, oh my God. Like, you can see my reaction before this. You, like, hear the audiobook in the background. There was no whispering. Very upset about it.
Can we talk about that? Braden decided to splurge, and he bought the audiobook because I told him that I've heard people say it's really creepy because apparently there were like some whisperings in it. Tell them what happened, Braden.
So, like, I remembered the parts where they were like whispering.
Yeah, I was like, maybe now because they might be whispering on this last like chunk, maybe then they will actually whisper. But we were really disappointed by that. We were let down. Are you liking the cast? Is it like a full cast or is it just one person talking?
Just one person.
Just one? Oh.
I was expecting like a full cast, you know, like, I mean, not necessarily like a young boy narrating it, but like, you know, someone who
would make voice.
Yeah, a different voice. But no full cast, no whispering. I spent $16 on the audiobook.
So we don't recommend the audiobook. Maybe the last chunk will change your opinion. Braden, you will have to keep us updated, but so far it's a big no-no. I feel like it might end in an open ending, which are not my favorite. They piss me off because I want to know what happens. But I feel like it might be the case. I don't know.
Because we only have 85 pages left.
Yeah, how are they gonna wrap it up so quickly? Like,
I know. I thought that we would start getting our plot twist in this 75% mark. I thought that's when we were going to start getting our big
me
plot
too.
in and start to kind of conclude, but then something else would happen.
I feel like more happened in the 50% mark than the 75% mark. Don't you feel?
Yeah, I
like
think
that?
so too. I think they're trying to build the characters more.
Yeah, build tension too. They're trying to make us like guess what's gonna happen. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully.
Yeah.
The next morning.
Part was sweet. This book has been an emotional roller coaster for me, if you can't tell.
Three hours later.
We're back, and this bad boy's done. We finished it.
Yes.
We finished this book. We have our tea in our book, and we're ready to give our final ratings. Also, Braden has an update for us. Talk about the audiobook because we were
yes. So, as you saw in the last update, the audiobook made me mad.
Spill the tea.
But it made up for it today. The ending of the audiobook was great.
Braden really enjoyed it. So if you're interested in the audiobook, we have a different opinion now. Now that you have the update of the audiobook, we can start talking about the book now. This was the last chunk of the book, and I was actually wrong. I need to apologize. I thought this was a supernatural thriller because when I searched it up, it said supernatural thriller, but it's not a supernatural thriller.
So all of our predictions were wrong.
All of them. He didn't turn into a butterfly. He didn't because it's not supernatural. I was just dumb, and yeah. But it's okay. It actually made me more interested when I found out that it wasn't going to be supernatural because I like those thrillers more. So I was excited. So when we left off, we said that the killer was looking at a next victim, and the next victim would be Jake, the little boy. And
surprise, shawty!
that was correct. He kidnaps the little boy. When we left off, there was someone in the house.
He was.
I did not see that coming. The dad's dad was attacked by that person who was trying to get to the boy. The dad is able to come back home in time to find Pete still alive, laying down on the floor, but he notices that his son is gone, and they have no clue who did this, what's happening.
And then we switch to Jake's point of view, who is the son that was kidnapped, and the little girl is there in this place because the little girl follows him everywhere. And then we had a discovery about the little girl, but we're not going to say that yet.
Yeah, he wakes up in another child's bedroom, and we go back to the dad, and the dad is trying to look for clues as to what happened because he's just so desperate and he feels so guilty. And then the little boy, he used to carry around like a bag filled with things he cared about. There were quite a few things in the bag. One of the most shocking ones, I think, might have been the rhyme.
Yeah.
And we found out that the rhyme was written in the handwriting of the mom.
Rebecca.
So it was Rebecca. Yeah. So it was through Jake's mom that he learned that rhyme about. You guys remember our reaction to that rhyme. It was intense. He finds also a drawing of the death moth, which was the butterfly that has been a recurring theme throughout the book.
Yeah.
The drawing doesn't look like it was made by a child. And he's like, so someone gave this to Jake so he could copy. And he's like fixated on that. He wants to find out who could have given him this drawing and what it meant, because it was everywhere. It was with the body of the little boy in the basement. It was like everywhere. So he was really intrigued by that. The police don't really take it seriously. They're like, okay, whatever.
And then this is where we find out everything about the mom.
Yeah. That was a really interesting plot twist. She actually lived in this town. And she used to live, am I right? She used to live in the creepy house they moved into, right? Mm-hmm. We realized that the little girl Jake keeps seeing is actually his mom as a child. It's like he has a picture of his mom as a child, and that's the girl he keeps seeing everywhere. And I thought that was a beautiful scene. I did not see that coming. It made me tear up a little bit. Yeah, it made me tear up. I thought that was really emotional and uncalled for. Like, I did not see that coming, but it was great. I liked that plot twist. And then we had like this search on who drew this death moth, what's happening with that. And we find out that maybe the assistant of the teacher of the school Jay goes to could have drawn that and given it to him. And his name is George. And so he gets help from this woman he's seeing, and she finds out his address, and they're like, let's go there, try to talk to this person, because he called in sick.
They arrive at this house, and the dad's ringing the doorbell. So the George walks down from the room that Jake is staying in, and he goes and he sees that it's Tom standing at the door, ringing the doorbell. So he goes and he gets a knife, and he puts it in his robe. So then he answers the door, and Jake is like, Jake has no chill. He's like, did you draw this?
Yeah, he's desperate.
Did you give this to Jake?
And the guy's playing dumb. He's like, no, I've never seen that. Like,
yeah. It made me mad at this part because after that, like he was playing dumb, he was acting all confused. Great actor, apparently. So the dad was just like, he clearly knows nothing. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go now. And I was like,
no, don't go. Wait a little bit. I was like, no, because to make it clear for you guys, he was actually the one holding Jake hostage. Like, George was the man who kidnapped Jake. And then, thank God, Jake makes some noises. And the dad like realizes that, oh, wait, he's not alone in this house. And he tries to go in and there's a fight.
Tom got stabbed.
He got stabbed. Poor dude. Poor dude.
Poor dude. Sounds so casual.
Thank God, Amanda, the cop, tries to look into the clue, and she goes into the house and was able to get Jake out of there safely. Jake is back home, and we actually find out that Pete passed away.
Yes.
He did not get through whatever the killer did to him.
I didn't really care. Wasn't sad.
Oh, she passed away? Oh. All right.
I was sad. I didn't see that coming. George was actually using a fake name. His real name was Francis, and Francis Carter. Carter, right? I think so.
Yeah.
And he was the son of the notorious Whisper Man.
Yeah.
He used to be abused by his father in the way that he would make him look at the little boys, and he would feel really bad about what was happening because he felt like it was his fault. He decides to try to save, that's his excuse, save children and take better care of them. And I thought that lacked a little bit. Did you like that plot twist?
No, I thought that it was done pretty bad.
Thank you.
Because, I was confused. I didn't have this big,
I didn't have an all moment. Me neither. I was just like, are you kidding? That's it?
Yeah.
They try to pull it off as it just being George. And I was like, where does this George character come from? Who is he? And then they said it was Francis. And I was like, whatever. Okay. Okay.
Because, whenever that happened, and the dad was ringing the doorbell, it was clear that George was in the room. So, you already knew that it was him. So you didn't have this shocking...
Yeah, I feel like if they would have announced him as Francis before George, maybe that would have been a little more, a little more shock factor. But as we knew him as George and then Francis after, it just lost me that.
Because George was introduced in this last percentage.
Yeah, who the hell is George? I felt like that was so rushed. All of this happened the 20 pages left of the book. It wasn't my favorite plot twist.
This could have started happening in the 75%.
And working towards something. But I don't know. I just didn't like that they tried to play it off in the assistant, George. I didn't like that. Who is George?
George. Never mentioned before these last 30 pages.
Oh, I didn't like that. They could have at least tried to fit him in the story. And then Francis is sent to jail, obviously, because of all the things he did. And then he meets his father, because they're both in the same jail. He has power in that jail. And he steals the key to his cell. And then he goes whispering, Francis, and little boy, and he feels like a little boy again, extremely scared of his father.
And this, can I read the last line?
Yes.
Okay. The Whisper Man walked slowly towards him. With his hands trembling, Francis reached down and took hold of the bottom of his t-shirt, and then he pulled it up to cover his face. Plot twist definitely had potential. Overall, I think I enjoyed I think the first half of this might have been the best.
I agree.
I think the middle was just filler to try to get us attached to the characters.
Yeah.
And then I think the end, the author just rushed through it because he spent so much time trying to get us to connect to the characters that we didn't care about. We don't even really care about them. We don't remember their names properly.
I feel like the first 25 and 50% were the best. And then 75 was a big letdown, and the 100 was just what?
What did we read again?
Yeah, I feel like I liked the part leading up to the plot twist more than the plot twist itself.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the best part, the tension, building the tension, and the beginning of the book where we're being introduced were the most interesting things to read about. Should we try to guess each other's ratings? 4.5.
Do you want me to say if that's right, or you want me to guess yours first?
Okay, try to go to mine.
I think you would give it a 3.
Okay, should we go?
Yeah.
And say like, you got it right. I gave it a 3.
You got it wrong.
Well, what did you rate it?
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
That was my second option. I was like either a 4.5 or 3.5. Like I knew it was gonna be one of those.
I think that this experience was definitely fun. We had fun doing this.
Definitely.
However, this book is just.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe.
And leave a like if you enjoyed this video.
Comment down below. And we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!